Growing up, I read Hatchet, Sign of the Beaver, My Side of the Mountain, One Man's Wilderness, and all of these stories and books have led me down a path where now my dream is to stake a claim in the Arctic Circle and build myself a trapping cabin, recreational cabin, where I can go spend the winters and live off of the land. My wife and I moved to Alaska in 2020 to chase this dream, but I have yet to build a cabin. So I've been planning all winter. Last fall, I collected a bunch of logs, and I've just been waiting for the ground to thaw. And it's just about ready. The first step is debarking the logs, but before I can even do that, I need to build a pair of sawhorses so that I'm not working on the ground. I'm gonna rip this in half. Now I need to cut flat spots here and here so that I can put legs on it. Wow, check that out. That little bug right there, that little grub, is what is responsible for killing this whole tree. And the weirdest thing about it to me, those little grubs are totally native. Native or not, those beetles are the reason that I am able to build a cabin, because there's so much dead standing timber. All right, now I've got my notches. I need legs. I buy these log cabin nails by the pound. So that's what I'm gonna put this sawhorse together with. All right. Okay. Now we're ready to debark. Real quickly, I'll show you where I'm gonna put the cabin. We picked this area in Alaska because of the fishing. The Kenai River and the Kasilof River have 4 types of salmon: pink salmon, coho salmon, sockeye salmon, and king salmon. And then also because of the hunting. The moose hunting here is all right. The bear hunting is phenomenal. And then this specific property that we bought, we drove into the driveway and we're like, this is the one. And what's nice about it is this hill in the back. It's covered in high bush cranberries, currants, and raspberries. For my cabin location, I picked this flat spot on top of the hill. I'm not sure what caused it, but this little spot on the side of the hill is almost flat. And so we've got a decent spot to build a cabin. All of these look incredible. Want a nice thick one for the bottom. These little branches that stick up, I need to clear those too, because if I have a bunch of bumpy things, then the logs won't sit flush together. Probably use the axe for that, but a nice heavy draw knife is good too. This big one will be the base that my cabin is sitting on. I'm gonna find another one that's just as big, debark that one, and then I'm gonna char it so that it doesn't rot as it's touching the ground. I'm gonna cut these to 12 feet. I want my cabin to be 6 feet by 8 feet on the inside, and then I'll have a 4-foot porch area that I'll be able to work and hang out. Any longer than that, and I wouldn't know how to transport them anyway. I have to carry them up that hill. I'll build a fire in between these logs and then slowly rotate the logs and let the outsides char. And this will create a little bit of a protective coating so that rot won't set into these logs. While that's cooking, I'll make the cross pieces. These will be about 6 feet wide, but I have to leave room for the notches, so I'll cut them at 8. Debark them, and then once I get the 2 long logs settled into the dirt, I'll put these on top and make notches. I'm just rotating them in the fire and letting all the sides blacken, and then I move it up and down. And it's taken probably about 3 hours to do these 4 logs. I'm sure there's a more efficient way to do this, but I'm only going to have to do the ones that are the base, so I'm almost done anyway. There, I've got my logs all charred up. Hopefully they lost some weight in the drying process. Let's see. Oh yeah. Now they're only 70% of my max. We're gonna need a shovel, a level, and a tape measure, and a shower. The ground is totally frozen. That's not good. I'm going to uncover as much of the ground here as I can, and then hopefully that'll get rid of some of the insulation that's keeping the permafrost frozen. It's not really permafrost, but you know what I'm saying. Here's my logs. They're spaced out how far they're gonna be. So my logs are not level. Let's see how off they are. Pretty far off. My plan is for these to be level, and then I'll do my cross pieces, which will have notches, and then I want to fill the center with gravel, and on the front porch I'll build a wooden deck. But a gravel floor in my cabin should be nice, and it should help the moisture drain. I'm doing a lot to prevent these logs from rotting. But I'm gonna have to take a break and go work on some other project. Maybe shoot some bows, enjoy the spring weather until I can get back to this. I'm digging out a place for the back of these logs, and I'll probably put the front on a couple of bricks. I made this little divider guy So what this is, every 2 inches, I drilled a hole the size of my white pencil. I stick it in there, and then I ride this corner along the top of the log and mark where my notch needs to be. And then hopefully if I follow that line, these notches should fit snug as a bug in a rug. Named Doug. Moment of truth. Gotta trim the ends. Alright, let's see if it fits. That's pretty sweet. 2 more to go. I don't have the right tools to be doing this. I ordered some, but I accidentally ordered them from Romania, so they probably won't be here until I'm done with this cabin. So I'm making do with flat chisels instead of the beveled one. And that actually worked pretty good. Now I'll do this front piece, make sure my cabin is square. Then I gotta figure out what I'm doing for a floor. I have an audience of 3.5. How nice is this? Okay, ready?
Yep.
Log number 2. Boom. Pretty groovy.
So now what?
Now I put a floor in. I was originally going to do a gravel floor, but because this is lifted up on blocks, I don't think that's an option anymore. So I'm going to have to figure out how to make a wood floor. My idea is if I cut things this wide and then do like half of a notch, they should fit on. And then you'll be walking on logs.
Like you're gonna saw them in half and then lay the flat part up?
No, they'll be round, but they won't be this big. They'll be like smaller diameter logs, ones that I don't want to stack. And then they'll be like, I'll have to lay like 100 of them across here. And then that'll be my floor. So the floor is gonna be bumpy this way.
Oh, why wouldn't you cut them in half and then use 2 to
Because
make 1?
for 2 reasons. If I cut them in half, they won't be the same thickness, and so the floor might not be even. Even though the things are flat, the floor might not be flat. And then the second reason is it's incredibly difficult to saw logs that are that small in half. And I don't have
They
enough.
don't have to be.
Okay, if I use big ones, then I don't have enough logs to build the cabin.
Okay, that would be a problem.
All right, get to work, you lazy hobo. Time to make a floor. I spent an entire workday debarking these logs for the floor. And I would have liked to get further on the cabin in this first week, have the floor done and maybe even start up the walls. But at the end of the day, it is nighttime. And tomorrow is the day that I go to town to upload. My goal for this cabin is to use as little hardware as possible and learn how to go into the woods with nothing but tools and build myself a shelter, a cabin that I could spend a winter in trapping. And I've decided that I am leaning on my chainsaw as a crutch. So I've actually gone ahead and ordered a crosscut saw, a saw that cannot run out of gasoline. I'll give you another update video next Sunday where hopefully I will have built the walls, finished the floor, and maybe we'll see if I even get started on the roof structure. I don't know. But if you find yourself sitting around wondering, I wonder what Ben's doing right now, just know I'm debarking logs. That is my life now. See you guys next week.